Hello and welcome to this new blog post where we will have a look at an HR Copilot that I created in Copilot Studio, and I integrated this in a Power App application. And because I have different parts to cover, today we will have a look at the first element that focuses on business travel, but I will show you what we will cover in this and the next post. So short agenda, first an introduction. Then we will have a look at the first element, business travel, and then we will have a look at what we are going to do in the next videos. So here, short intro. What did I create? Well, what you see here on the screen is basically my HR bot, which is based on a Power App. So this site is created with a Power App, and I have different elements. So business travel, holidays, working time, and so on. Yeah? And what I want to do is integrate a Copilot Studio bot that helps me doing things. Yeah? And of course here, the first element is the business travel. Yeah? So what are we doing in the following? Well, here's the business travel page. Yeah? On the left, you can see the integrated HR bot. Yeah? And then I have different things. Yeah? For example, I want to ask questions before I go on a business trip. Yeah? And these questions might relate to a PDF document, to my travel policy that I stored on SharePoint. Yeah? Then, once you come back, you might want to record your travel expense. Yeah? And also here, you might have no idea how to do that. Therefore, I have here an integration into Microsoft Learn, because I want to show you how you can enter the expenses that you have in an ERP system. In my case, it's Dynamics 365. But it can be SAP, can be any other system that you have. Yeah? And then in the middle, here I have just a button that opens my ERP system where you can just record your travel expenses. Okay, and after all of this intro talk, let's have a look at my system and check out how it works. Okay, we are here in my demo environment, and what you see is here the Power App that has different links to different areas all around HR. And what we want to start with is here, of course, the business travel. So let's click on that. And then you can see what I basically showed you on the PowerPoint slide, that you have on the left-hand side the HR bot, which I will explain later in detail. Yeah? Then you have here some sample questions, but you can ask basically any question that you have against a travel policy document that I stored on SharePoint. Yeah? And then later on, you can also ask questions about how to enter a travel expense. Yeah? But maybe let's start with the first question, and I type it here so that I do not have to manually enter it here. So you can basically ask your question. And then what the bot will do is, in the background, a plugin will call a flow. The flow will basically do a conversion of the text and then ask the question against this document. So let's see what we get out of it. And might take a while, but this is really a long text. What you have to consider, well, might be a very detailed policy. Yeah? So you know now what you have to do before you go on a business trip. You can ask the similar questions, what you have to do when you return. Yeah? And when you return, of course, you want to record your travel expense. Yeah? So I have here a button that opens an ERP system. In my case, it's the Dynamics 365. For finance and operations, you can enter your business or travel expenses. But if you have no idea how to do that, well, then you can, of course, also ask a bot. I have a question here that allows me to ask the question quickly without typing. And now what will happen is the bot should reach out to Microsoft Learn and then search for the information, hey, how do I enter a travel expense report in Dynamics 365 and provide you with an answer. That's the idea. So you see here what you have to do, step 1, 2, 3, and so on. Yeah? And of course, as I showed you in my last video, you can also do this in different languages. Yeah? So if I typing here in German, yeah, wie gebe ich einen Reisekosten Bericht in die 365 ein. Yeah, let's see if this bot understands this. Then we should get the answer back, in my case, hopefully in German language. If you have a different language, you should get it back in French and other languages that you speak or are able to understand. So let's see. And wait a second. Okay, so that looks like German. Pretty good. There are different steps again, and then you have a guide what to do here. Okay, so now after this demo, let's make a stop and have a look at how this is configured and set up. And the first thing is, if we go in the app, here of course there are some buttons. They navigate you to the different sites. Here this button basically opens my Dynamics application. But the main thing is here the bot. So let's have a look at the bot. That's what I configured. And the first thing is that I used here this Microsoft Learn site to ask questions about how to enter the travel expenses. Because, well, this is so generic and it's a public website that I do not need to be careful with something. So I just have this as generative AI element or website that is included here. Now, the second thing is I put a travel policy document. That's this one. It's a multi-page document on SharePoint. So it's here, it's a PDF document. And now I want to ask questions against this document. So how did I do that? Well, I have a plugin, which is this one here, Travel Policy, HR Travel Policy. And you can already see the icon that this is a flow that is running behind. It's the same what we did in the last blog post where I showed you this. So here is the flow. You give a description, you provide input, and then you get an output back. Very easy. So the flow is this one here. So let's scroll up to see how it starts. So we start here with a question. Then there are some conversions. I don't use OneDrive, but I will explain you in a minute. What I'm doing is I get the file content from here, and then I use here the AI builder to convert this into a text. Why? Because I want to have the plain text, not the tables and all of these things. Then there are some conversions here, and then I get the combined text from this PDF, and then I have here a prompt. And this prompt is taking then this output, so the plain text, and then it uses my question to ask, or basically answer my question. The prompt that you see here is also very simple. I build it here, so you can have here in the AI builder or in Power Apps, you come here to AI prompts. I have here the one for the travel policy, and I say, okay, please answer the following question. That's my placeholder, the question, based on this document. And then once you have defined that, you can select the prompt here. You get a feedback, and well, I just use variables and some nice things, and then I get the whole thing back. If you want to replicate this whole flow, I would recommend you having a look at this element, because I used lots of parts from this. Extract data from PDFs. It's a public website. This is the author. So thanks for sharing. And here are the different steps. And what I did is, of course, I did not use OneDrive. I used SharePoint, and I did some other things with that. But the basic principle is here. And if you want and scroll down, you can even download and use this kind of conversion that you need in your flow. So very easy to use and to implement. And then this gives us the feedback here that we need in our bot. And the user has the good experience that he can ask basically any question, no matter what question you have, as long as you ask a question against this travel policy document, you can do that. And last remark, also here for the topics, I use the dynamic chaining so that I do not have to define a flow or something, but that the system automatically identifies what I'm asking and searches the correct topic to provide me the answer. Okay, so that's it. So let's go back to the PowerPoint for some closing remarks then. So after this first demo, let's have a look at what we are going to do next. And in part 2, I want to show you how you can use API calls to check for public holidays. Why? Because maybe you want to go on holiday and need to know when are public holidays. Of course, you also need to know how many days of holidays you have left. And I want to integrate this into my app, where you can do all of that in a very interactive way. So this will be part 2, but that will be next time. So for today, that's all what I wanted to share. Thanks for watching and listening. And as usual, if you have questions or comments, send me an email or put it in the comment section.